One missile falls in the wrong place, and suddenly Washington is forced to fight on three fronts. Is America ready for a war that connects Tehran, Beirut, and Tel Aviv on a single map of fire? This isn't breaking news. This is 40 years in the making. 4 decades of proxies. 4 decades of chess. And right now, in 2026, we are watching the endgame. Israel is pushing deeper into Lebanon. Hezbollah is bleeding, but not dead. Iran is watching, calculating. And America is one miscalculation away from the abyss. Everyone says Hezbollah is weakened, destroyed depots, assassinated commanders. And yes, they are weakened. But a wounded tiger is not a dead tiger. Before the war, Hezbollah had hundreds of precision missiles. Range, 350 kilometers. From South Lebanon, Tel Aviv is 150 kilometers away. Haifa is 50. Even after heavy losses, dozens of precision rounds likely survive. That's enough for one catastrophic strike on a port, a refinery, a city center. And drones? Hezbollah has maintained local drone production inside Lebanon. Supply lines cut. They still build. They still launch. Israel has pushed 10 kilometers deep into Lebanese territory. Officially, not an occupation. Unofficially, a kill zone. Lebanese civilians can't go home. The Lebanese army has pulled back. The wounded tiger is cornered. And cornered animals are the most dangerous of all. Strategists have modeled exactly what kind of war this becomes. 2 paths, limited or total. In the limited scenario, proxy skirmishes. In the total war scenario, one incident triggers automatic escalation. Remember Tower 22 in Jordan 2024. 3 American soldiers killed by a single drone. That alone launched the largest U.S. retaliation in years. Now imagine double-digit American casualties. Or a direct hit on a U.S. carrier in the eastern Mediterranean. The political math in Washington changes overnight. In March 2026, Iran launched 230 drones in a single wave against used linked bases across Iraq, Kuwait, and Bahrain. This isn't proxy warfare anymore. Iran is showing its hand directly. The gap between limited and total war is not a wide canyon. It is a crack in the floor. And that crack is widening every single day. Hezbollah is not just an ally. Hezbollah is Iran's insurance policy. For 4 decades, Tehran has invested billions into building Hezbollah as a forward deterrent against Israel. If Hezbollah collapses, Iran loses its entire regional empire. Every militia in Iraq and Syria watches what happens next. The message becomes, Iran cannot protect its partners. And empires built on fear don't survive that message. So Iran has a choice. Let Hezbollah die and shrink into irrelevance. Or escalate, publicly, aggressively. In 2026, Iran chose escalation. Direct IRGC attacks, not through proxies. A clear message to Washington and Jerusalem. We are in this war. But here is Iran's trap within the trap. Go too far, and it invites the very strike it has spent 40 years trying to deter. Tehran is walking a razor's edge. And razor edges cut both ways. Let's talk about what this war actually costs America, not in principles, in dollars. In lives. In the first days of the March 2026 escalation, Brent crude spiked 8% in a single session. Asian LNG jumped 45%. European gas surged 30%. And that was before any real disruption. Israel's Zevithan and Karish gas fields, minus 17 billion cubic meters of annual production, went into shutdown. Europe's post-Ukraine energy architecture started cracking again. In a full war scenario, analysts project oil at $140 per barrel. That is not an energy price. That is a global recession. And America would own it politically. Militarily, Iran has already done something dangerous and brilliant. By attacking Iraq, Lebanon, Kuwait, and Bahrain simultaneously, it has forced the U.S. to defend 5 theaters at once. Every missile battery pointed at Iraq is one less covering the Eastern Med. That is the shield strategy. Iran is not trying to win. Iran is trying to make winning too expensive for everyone else. This is not a border dispute. This is the architecture of 4 decades of deterrence coming apart at the seams. On one side, a battered but lethal Hezbollah. Precision missiles still in reserve. Drone factories still running. Fighters waiting in the hills of southern Lebanon. On the other, a cornered Iran whose entire regional empire depends on Hezbollah surviving. Willing to launch hundreds of drones in a single night to prove it won't back down. And in the middle, U.S. carrier groups, Eastern Mediterranean gas rigs, and a Washington with no good options. And America is one mistake away from the abyss.